Hello, can you see this?
Yes, I can see you. Can you turn on your camera? It would be maybe nicer.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, good morning. In the first presentation today, Nishba study spinning particles oscillation in its application to QES.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry. I'm Misbah Shehzadi from Pakistan, doing PhD under the supervision of Martin Kolos. First of all, I would like to say thanks to Martin for his continuous support and guidance throughout my research career. Without his help or support, I was unable to present here at Ragtime Conference. Now I'm going to present some work we have done in collaboration with Professor Stolik. In a dynamical system, the spin is among the most important elements as it may completely change the evolution of a system. For example, if you consider a non-spinning particle around a well-known Schwarzschild or Kerr background, you can see the regular motion. But if you consider a spinning particle in Schwarzschild or Kerr background, the chaotic motion can be observed. In the case of spinning particle, the forward momentum deviates from the geodesic trajectory because of the spin curvature force that produces due to the spin-orbit coupling. It is also interesting from astrophysical point of view as it can approximate the motion of the stellar compact object around a supermassive black hole, and such binary systems are usually known as extreme mass ratio in spirals. The motion of the spinning particle can be described by the MP equations as given here. D by theta is the covariant derivative along the particle trajectory, and S alpha beta is the antisymmetric spin tensor. Here, P alpha and V beta denotes the forward momentum and forward velocity of a particle respectively. The right-hand side of the first equation indicates the spin-orbit coupling through a strong gravitational field. These MP equations are the first order nonlinear and ordinary differential equations, but not in a closed form. It means there are less number of equations than necessary to evolve the system. So we need a further condition to specify a reference point about which the spin and angular momentum of a particle can be calculated. This reference point can be taken as a center of mass of the body. So in order to overcome this problem, many conditions, so-called spin supplementary conditions, has been developed in the literature, and the TD condition is the most important among them that we use in our work. And mathematically, it can be written like this. And using this condition, one can write the explicit relation between the forward velocity and forward momentum as given here. N is the normalization constant. The motion of the spinning particle, equations of motion of the spinning particle are not unique because each SSC defines a different evolution of the MP equations. And using this TDSSC, one can write the mass mu and spin magnitude of a particle like this. These are the constant of motion which are independent from the symmetry of the background. But the constant of the motion dependent on the symmetry of the background can be constructed using this scaling vector equation, which are energy and angular momentum. In our system, we consider in our work, we consider a spinning particle around a rotating black hole described by the Kerr geometry as given here. A is the rotation parameter and m is the mass of the black hole. And you can calculate the black hole event horizon by solving this equation. If a particle is slightly perturbed from the equilibrium position corresponding to the stable circular orbit, then the particle will start to oscillate about the stable circular orbit and realizing the epicyclic motion. The epicyclic frequencies of these harmonic oscillations can be found using the effective potential. Here, omega are radial and the omega are the vertical, and omega phi is for the orbital frequency. These expressions are for the local observer, but to find the frequencies for the distant observer, we need a redshift factor, and we can find using this equation. And the frequencies in the physical system can be written like this. In our work, we take the expressions of these frequencies directly from this paper. Uh, mm, Using the radial frequency, we can find the position of the innermost stable circular orbit where the radial frequency vanishes. Here you can see the position of the event horizon and scope of spinning particle around a curved black hole. The first row is for different values of spin parameter, and the second row is for different values of the rotation parameter A. When spin of the magnitude is positive, it means the direction of the spin of the particle is directed along the rotational axis of the black hole, which we can take as a z-axis. So, and when the spin magnitude is negative, it means the direction of the rotation of the particle is anti-parallel. So you can see when the direction of the spin of the particle is parallel to the rotational axis, then the both co-rotating and counter-rotating particles shift towards the black hole horizon. But when they are anti-parallel, the particles shift away from the black hole horizon. These figures shows the radial profiles of the frequencies. In the middle row, we have the frequencies for frequencies around the non-rotating black hole, while in the upper and lower frequencies are for the rotating black hole. So you can see we have for the non-rotating black hole, the both vertical and orbital frequencies coincide, but in the rotating case you can see with different profiles. Here we see that when the direction of the spin of the particle is directed along the z-axis, the radial profiles of the particle shift towards the black hole horizon, and when they are anti-parallel, they shift away from the black hole and this is due to the spin orbit actually plays a role of an attractive force when direction are parallel, and play a role of repulsive when they are anti-parallel. We also integrate the equations of motion with the help of the Gauss-Runge-Kutta scheme, and investigate the frequencies numerically using the fast Fourier transformations. And you can see the numerical and analytical frequencies are coincides even for large perturbation parameter. To numerically integrate the equations of motion, you cannot choose the initial data randomly. Instead, our initial data should satisfy some conditions. Like you have 24 equations to solve this system, so there should be 24 initial conditions, 4 for the position vector x alpha, 4 for the p alpha, and s for the antisymmetric 16 for the antisymmetric s alpha beta. Since t and pi are the cyclic coordinates, so we can set them 0. And initially we consider a particle at an equatorial plane, so theta will be pi by 2, and initial position, let's say, r naught. Then first we give constant values for the constant of motion, energy, angular momentum, and the spin with which the motion of the particle is bounded to the compact region of the space-time. Then we left with the 4 quantities, pt, pr, p theta, and p phi. You can find PR using the normalization condition. Then we left with the 3 unknowns, and these 3 unknowns we can find using these equations with the help of the Newton-Raphson method. And the components of the S alpha beta you can write in terms of these known quantities. And for this we follow the our Suzuki and Maida article to how to calculate the initial data to integrate the MP equations. Actually, in our system, we are considering a small spinning body of mass mu and orbiting a large body with mass m, and it can be supermassive or solar mass black hole, and so it should satisfy the condition that mu should be very very less than m. And if we specify the spin parameter in terms of dimensionless quantity, so it will be s over mu m. And as for the spin of the particle with the mass, we usually expect the condition that s is less than order of the mu square. So using these conditions, we see that the spin parameter, the realistic values of the spin parameter should be less than 1. Actually, it has been discussed in last days, so I will not go to detail of this. Here you can see the figure of it shows the position of microquasars and AGNS depending on the depending on the product of mass and frequencies as well as the spin parameter A. In the upper panel, these are microquasars, and here these are the HNS. The shaded region shows the here spin parameter is still is unknown, while the it shows the here you can see the range of the mass. Actually, what we do in our work, first we calculate the frequencies, upper and lower frequencies for different models. Then we find the resonant radii at 3:2 by using this equation. Then we again find the upper and lower frequencies at the resonant radii 3:2 to fit the data for different QPS models. This table shows the observational data for different QPS models we are using in our work. And these are the radial profiles. Radial profiles of the upper and lower frequencies and the resonant radii for different QPS models. Here you can see the black vertical line is for the spinning particle, and it shows the resonant radii at 3:2, while the gray vertical line is for the non-spinning particle, and here the curves black are for spinning, and the gray are for the non-spinning particle. We see that for the spinning particle, here we are using the spin parameter -1, and you see the resonant radii for the non-spinning particle is larger as compared to the non-spinning particle. And this figure shows the fit of the different microquasars and AGNS. The blocks with the dashed boundary are the microquasars, while these shaded regions show the AGNS. Here the dashed curves are for the contra-rotating particles, while here these solid curves are for the co-rotating particles. Here you can see the spinning particle frequency fit the data for all microquasars, but not all AGNS. Now summary. And the spin orbital coupling plays a role of an attractive force when the total angular momentum and spin of either black hole or a test body are parallel, and repulsive when they are anti-parallel. When spin of the particle is aligned with the z-axis, the radial profiles of the spinning particle are closer to the black hole horizon as compared to the non-spinning case. However, when the spin is anti-aligned, we have opposite behavior. The spinning particle QPS models can fit the data for all 4 microquasars that we are considering here in our work, but not all AGNS. And these frequencies of the spinning particle are very important. Next, we are trying to calculate the resonances, the same as it was discussed in the yesterday talk by my advisor Martin Colos, and we also would like to calculate to investigate the point carrier surfaces to see the chaotic behavior at resonant and non-resonant radii. Thank you for your attention.
I wrote a paper 50 years ago with Massimo Calvani about spinning particles orbiting slowly rotating Kerr black hole. And what we have, of course, we are interested in the location of ISCO. What we have found, and you haven't mentioned this, so I don't know whether you know about this, is that there is a second region of stability of orbits. So I've noticed that in all your figures, when you plot the epicyclic radial frequency, it goes to 0. Yes, you see. But then to the left of these curves, there is a discontinuous region of stability. So there is again kappa squared, which is positive, and it is unlikely for the orbits of non-spinning particles, which of course met without 50 years ago, we didn't know about QPOs and things like this. But this region may be interesting for QPOs. So I wonder whether you know that there is this second region of stability closer to rotating black holes, and could you comment on this?
Actually, I'm not able to understand what you are saying.
So if may I ask answer? So we don't know about it, but we will look into it. So thank you for your comment.
Yes.
Definitely, it's very important. We didn't notice it. There exists another region of stability.
Yes,
so
closer.
Okay, so we will just look into it.
Due to the spin of the part.
Okay, so thank you very much for your comment.
Hello. At the end, Deborah, may I ask a question? Deborah?
I'm sorry?
Actually, I want to ask, is there someone in the audience who is working on the spinning particle dynamics? Actually, I would like to discuss something. So I was wondering, is there someone from the audience who is working on the spinning particle dynamics?
This question was asked by Professor Marek Abramovich. So
no, actually, I'm asking from the audience, is there someone from the audience who is working on the spinning particle dynamics? Actually, I would like to ask something or discuss something with his or her. If there is someone, maybe she can raise your hand.
Somebody else is working in this project.
Doesn't look like.
No. Okay. Any other questions? No more questions? Let's thanks to the speaker again.